Hey guys, what's going on? This is RJ here, hanging out with Scooter,
Hey, what's up?
and we just watched the movie SoulMate. Yeah, because nothing says something more straight like two guys watching a movie called SoulMate. But but anyway, we watched the movie and we're gonna discuss. It's mostly gonna be me discussing. Scoot's over here playing some Madden. So if you like this kind of content, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. So, before we even get into the review, let me talk about SoulMate a little bit, its production, and why it was a digital only release. Um, so, this movie was actually supposed to come out in like the very beginning of January, like even before Primate, and it was on my wish list of movies I wanted to see. It's a spin off from the Megan franchise, and it's a movie, though, that doesn't really tie in too much to the Megan franchise at all. It's sort of like Companion or movies like that. Her, movies like that, right? Is the premise. And we'll get into the premise here more in a second. But I wanted to say it's really disappointing this movie did not get a theatrical release, but we did finally see it. It came out maybe like a week ago at best. And I gotta say, overall, I think the movie's pretty solid. I actually liked it better than Companion. I liked it better than Megan or Megan 2.0. So I give it an 8 out of 10. So, first, I want to go over the positives, and then we will hit the negatives. And I'm going to start off with the non spoiler positives on this movie. So, non spoiler positives on this movie is I do want to praise the pacing. I thought the movie was well paced, not boring. It was like 95 minutes or so. So again, it didn't drag on. I felt like it made its point and moved on. So always got to praise the pacing there. I thought the acting was really well done by the android herself, the main actress. I thought the plot, um, I do have some negatives to say about the plot, and which I'll get to in a second. But positives on the plot is the plot was coherent and made sense for the most part. The setting that there was an AI company, a typical believable setting. This movie has a lot of believability to it as a possibility that this could go on in the future. And now we get to my non-spoiler negatives. So on my non-spoiler negatives, one thing I got to say is some of the CGI was a little crappy. It lacked a lot of practical effects, which was annoying. Also, well, no, that would be more of a spoiler negative. Now that I think about it, what I'm going to say. But no, non-spoiler negatives, I don't really have a whole lot. But as far as spoilers goes, we're about to get into spoilers here. My spoiler negatives are there is a huge plot hole in this movie. So, if you haven't already seen this movie, click off the video now, watch it, and come back to this review. So, non spoiler negative, the huge plot hole that really bothered me was David was messing with the android's programming and he took off some safeguards. Again, we see this all the time in the movies. They take off the safeguards. That's always your first sign there's a problem. Now, when he's done with the robot literally does things that he doesn't like and he wants to get rid of it. This idiot decides not to just get on his computer and fix the safeguard issues. He just calls up the people to go take it away. How irresponsible was this guy? This is somebody that we're supposed to believe is a programmer, and he left the robot unattended where an unsuspecting person would go to pick it up. More on that in a little bit. Why? So that's just, to me, that's just like a way to further the plot. And really dumb. Like, it would have made more sense if he went to override the safeguards and then she flipped the safeguards back off or something like that. That would have covered David's ass as far as, like, what are you doing, man? Also, my other negative when it comes to this movie is the fact that this movie really has zero plot twist. It really is so straightforward, which again, the plot makes sense and it's coherent, and that was a positive on one end, but the other end of that is there's no twist here. There's no like genius original idea. It just does what's already been done before, but I think done decently well. And like I said, good watch overall. Now for my spoiler positives. Spoiler positives. I have to say, I really like the interactions between David and his friends, David and the robot. I really like the fact that we got to see the robot naked and got to see her knockers. Like, that's really the best part of the movie, is to see her knockers. I really enjoyed the kills. Like, there's this one scene where the repairman is going to pick the robot up, and the robot's manipulating him, and then because David didn't turn off the safeguards, we get the best kill of the movie. She basically humps him and gets tighter as they go, until basically his manhood was crushed by the weight of her hoo-ha. And so that was a really interesting scene. They keep it where you don't see quite enough to make it an NR-rated movie. I believe it's rated R. But some of the kills here are brutal. The kills here are more brutal than what you see in Megan for sure. And I really like this direction better than what Megan and Megan 2.0 did. I really like this movie even better than Companion as well. Even though Companion had a little more to it, I guess you could say. A little more of a twist here and there. But there's another kill where a guy has his hand smashed in the hood of a car, and she uses the car to ram him forward into the wall. Yeah, we've seen plenty of movies that are like this. But I gotta say, of all those movies that are like this in recent memory, the kills here really get a bump in positivity for me. And overall, I give SoulM8te an 8 out of 10. And now I'm going to let Scooter talk about what he wants to say about SoulM8te. Go ahead, Scooter. Give us your positives and your negatives, all of it. What do you think?
I thought it was a decent movie, a lot better than what I thought it would be. I really liked... I really liked the actors. They made it believable. I honestly was kind of on the fence about watching it at first because I didn't know really what to expect, but I'm glad that I gave it a chance. But yeah, it was a good movie. The negative, I just felt like I've seen it so many times.
Something like it.
Yeah, something like it. But other than that, just like I said, I thought it was good. I'm glad I watched it.
And we have a little bit of a difference of opinion, right? You preferred Companion?
Yeah, I like Companion a lot better.
Do you like Megan better than this? Or about the same?
About the same.
And what about Megan 2.0? You never watched that, did you?
No, I never watched any of the Megan movies.
Oh, I thought you watched the
No,
first one.
hell no.
Oh, no. All right, so... what would you give a score on this one?
A 6.
A 6. All right, I'm giving it 8. I really should give it a 7.5, but for the sake of the meme of SoulM8te, I'll go ahead and round it up to an 8. Definitely not worth a rewatch of any kind, so I wouldn't suggest it.
They totally switch things up. I don't even know how to do over the top or anything.
But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Consider watching SoulM8te. I wish it did come out back in January. I would have watched it in theaters, and maybe it would have been even more enjoyable. But when you have a home theater release, your expectations go down just a little bit. A home digital release. You know, if this was in theaters exactly as it is, I'd probably give it a 7. But it being a digital release, you give it a little more leeway. Anyway, I'm out, guys. See ya.